here to listen and to hear from you about the things that are important to you, not necessarily just the stuff that we're presenting tonight. I'm going to go through this presentation very quickly because I want to get to the good part, which is hearing from you, and then hopefully get you home in time for dinner and a reasonable bedtime so that you get up and do it all again tomorrow. So with that, I would say if there's a theme to the budget proposal that I put together for the school board, and the school board has a lot to consider with everybody, term solutions to some of our challenges, but also look at some long-term solutions and try to find some what we would call responsible solutions. That our teachers feel valued and that they want to stay with us in the long term, as well as managing some of the growth that year, not getting kids to school on time, and a lot of concern for our parents when kids were coming home very late. And so to me, making sure has been. And it's okay for us not to be satisfied with how things have been going. And it's okay for us to confront that, but now that we know this, we got to do something about it. And the best way that I know that we can do how we line up with other districts that are dealing with the same problems. And unfortunately, Stafford County Public Schools has a not great correlation between low performance and also a low investment in the school system. There's not a whole lot of money being invested in the school system, and unfortunately, the school system is, and what all we encompass. We've got 30,000 kids in our care, over 4,000 employees, and we serve over 1 million lunches and travel over 1 million miles every year. That's a lot going on. We have a lot of moving parts. But it's important that in all of those moving parts that we not forget the really important stuff, which is what happens in a schoolhouse like right here at Widewater Elementary School. So I want to take this brief opportunity to thank Mrs. Bingham, our principal, who's here today. And we will wave for her, and not so good. As a matter of fact, is that we went from being the top of the pack to really kind of in the lower middle part of the pack.
Awesome.
Okay. All right. We're all set up here.
Okay.
I will. If you want to step in just one step closer. There we go. Okay. All right. And I will continue to look back at here. When you say something interesting, I will check the time code so I know
Okay.
when to make a note of that. But again. Dr. Taylor, I appreciate you making the time for us. This is your first budget as the division chief. Talk to me about some of the 3 key points that you want to get across to the community that are important to you.
Absolutely. This being my 8th week in Stafford County Public Schools, it was immediately apparent to me coming on board that we have a number of challenges and that we need to be pretty deliberate about how we align our resources to meet some of those challenges. The first and most significant challenge is that we have this fantastic staff that's here to support our kids, but there just simply aren't enough of them, and that attrition continues to be a challenge for Stafford County Public Schools. So recruiting and retaining the very best is a major goal of ours. Closely followed by managing our growth. This is a growing community. We have 30,000 students strong, and we are projecting to have another 600 students join us, and making sure that we have not just adequate space, but also adequate teachers and support staff to help our students that are coming on to Stafford County Public Schools. We want to make sure we have that. And I'd say third, that's probably governed a lot of our headlines going into 2022, was making sure that we had on-time transportation next year and an adequate structure to support that. And those are our 3 focus areas for fiscal 23, which starts on July 1.
Over the course of the past several months, there has been an ad hoc transportation committee. You bring up transportation. As I understand it, we're nearing the end of that process. What have we learned? Can you summarize so far what we've learned and what you may have, some of the things that you picked up so far during this process?
I think the school board made a great decision to appoint a citizen panel to review some of our transportation data. and to make some recommendations. I'm looking forward to seeing what those recommendations are on February 8th. I haven't been privy to them yet. I know that they are looking at everything between the driver shortage to the number of minutes in between each tier, and how we might better serve our students through a more comprehensive transportation system. Really looking forward to those recommendations. I'm pretty sure that they're going to align pretty sharply with what I'm recommending for next year as well.
Do you think the split scheduling had any effect on the what happened with the bus drivers? Would you be open if that is if the ad hoc committee finds that that's an issue? Would you be open to changing that?
So you're gonna have to talk to me about what a split schedule is.
So what we're hearing is part of the reason why we had, in addition to shortage of bus drivers, we had a schedule change right before the start of the school year, and that was part of the reason that attributed to some of the problems. Would you be open to taking a second look at that, making some changes to that if that's recommended?
Absolutely. I think it's in our best interest to look at our structure every year and find ways that we can improve. I think the most significant driving impact on transportation delivery of students safely on time and then back home again was the driver shortage, closely followed by just that, the number of minutes in between tiers. And going to a 4-tiered bus system definitely put a constraint on that. They definitely had to make a change to their schedule to try to accommodate that and to shorten the school day. Not something we would recommend moving forward. Our students need to be in school for a longer period of time. We know this to be true. And so I think that that's a marquee part of the steps that we're going to take moving forward.
Let me ask you about the scale in which you're proposing to pay to increase teacher pay. The Governor Youngkin has said that he would like to increase teacher pay. He wants to sign the most expensive education budget package that any governor has ever signed. Talk to me about the scale and how you envision it working and helping to recruit teachers.
Well, here's what we know, is that the most significant way that we can improve education is by having a highly qualified, super strong teacher in every classroom. And Stafford County is blessed in that regard, in that the folks that we have are absolutely fantastic. We just need more of them. And we're really excited that the governor wants to make education a huge part of his state budget moving forward. That is absolutely fantastic. We welcome that. Those resources being put to teacher compensation will help us tremendously, not just to compete regionally, but also to recognize our teachers for their performance this year and in the future. So we looked at our teacher salary scale and noticed that over the past several years, by adding just flat percentages, that it compressed their salary. And this new salary scale looks to decompress the salary scale and to create a pathway where teachers can expect annual increases based on their years of service, successful years of service, and that's really the cornerstone of what we're moving forward, is to decompress our salary scale and to recognize our folks that have been there with us for quite some time. That experience is just absolute gold to us.
I want to hit on another thing the governor did last week. He signed a school choice proclamation, school choice week. You had said on the dais that you look forward to a day when we don't have to wear masks in Stafford County. We look forward to getting back to normal. There are parents that say school choice would make that normal arrive faster if schools had to compete for students, and the governor seems to be a proponent of that. What's your reaction to school choice? Do you believe if schools like Stafford County had to compete with the private sector for students, that things would be different, and if so, how?
Well, I don't want to conflate a couple of issues. I think it's important to begin with a disposition of saying, how might we solve a problem versus starting off with a no. And to the extent that we are able to offer our parents and our students voice and choice in the programming that we provide, we're providing a win. I'm really excited at the prospect of looking at new and innovative ways to serve our kids, and I think that that's something that excites our team, and we're up for the challenge.
Finally, what are you hearing most from parents that you held one of these so far, as far as I know?
Actually, this is our very first one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, well then, so what, based upon feedback you're getting in email and phone calls and people who may not come out to an in-person meeting. What's your pulse on the community? What do they want from their school division?
Well, being very new to the community, I want to thank all of the parents and community members that have written to me, welcoming me. I feel like I have been very warmly welcomed in Stafford County. There have been a lot of great ideas that have been shared with me. And yes, there are a lot of concerns too. And whether it's about some of the issues happening at the state level or issues happening with school board policy, I'm so happy that our parents still find common cause in the fact that they love their classroom teacher and that they love their school and that they feel like they get tremendous value out of their classroom teacher and out of their school, and that this budget really honors that and really serves to lift up our schools and our classroom teachers, because that is something that we can all get behind.
Finally, is there anything else that you want our audience to know?
We're just delighted to be here, and we really look forward to our very bright future together.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate everything.
Thanks.
All right.
Hopefully that